Well, One Arm Away started a couple of years ago when I felt kind of overwhelmed, you know, of this feeling of writing a CD and just, coming back to the vocals because I used to sing a while ago. And I just wanted to join all that with that feeling that I had of writing something meaningful for me, something that would actually represent myself, music wise and lyric wise, especially. So, pretty much that's how One Arm Away came and how it happened at first. And the name One Arm Away, uh, it's funny because I've thought of that name like 1 or 2 years before of the whole One Arm Away idea. Just because I was playing guitar in my room and I started writing some death metal shit, you know, and I was like, dude, this riff is cool. I'm gonna record a death metal song, you know. It was out of the blue. I didn't even think about it. I just wanted to record a death metal song, and I'd probably never use it again, you know. And then I did it. I recorded a death metal song. I tried my crappy death metal vocals, and I recorded it. And then I was like, I gotta give it a name, you know. Uh, and then I remembered that back then I was reading Carlos Castaneda, you know. He's a famous writer, you know, and it reminded me of one of the passages of his book, and a teaching of a shaman, an Indian guy from Mexico that, he was eating peyote with him and having lots of interesting experiences. And through one of those, I remember that the Indian guy wanted to show him to be, more humble, because he would keep, just making fun of the Indian guy because, I'm a city guy, I'm a PhD, and you're an Indian. What the fuck you want to teach me about? The Indian guy was like, well, I'm going to show him something. And then probably during a peyote trip, they were in the middle of the woods, and the Indian guy said, look, we're going to be sitting here for a while, and during some point I'll be signalizing you with my eyes. It will be discreet, so you pay attention to me. And what you should do when I give you the signal is you look left, right? And then he just agreed, and a couple minutes later, like half an hour later actually, he looked at the guy and he did his, signal, and he looked left, and he like jumped in fear towards the ground, and he was like terrified, and then he was looking to the Indian and asking, what the fuck was that? That was really fucking horrible. Like, I felt my stomach, like this fear of being eaten alive, something like that, And then the Indian guy was like, that's your death. That's your death. And our deaths are always to our left side, just at one arm's length, one arm away. And that's what inspired me of naming that death metal music back then, One Arm Away, because it reminded me of death, And back then, I didn't actually think of the how cool that name was, and how meaningful it was. It was just an association that I made in my head with death metal, that I enjoy a lot. I'm a big fan of death metal. And a couple years later, when I started writing the actual One Arm Away stuff, I think I wrote 6 or 7 songs before I realized that the name of the band would be One Arm Away. And then I was just going through my files in my PC, and I saw this death metal music again, and it was called One Arm Away. And I was like, dude, this name is cool. And I reminded of the whole story behind it. I said, dude, it's perfect. It has absolutely, it's coherent with all the shit that I'm writing, And so that's how One Arm Away was born. And it made a lot of sense to me because I started writing when I'm away as a form of self-knowledge, as a form of understanding myself better, and thinking deeper about issues that I have in my mind and shit, and especially shit. And so I wrote a lot about, you know, spirituality, and how I'm not a big fan of religion, and in a way that is very personal, but still I believe many people can relate to.